Like some people, they done some kind of coaching session, their energy is being sapped. It happens to me as well. But on really good days, it energizes me because I learn something about myself as well.
Welcome to the Stories We Tell Ourselves, a podcast created and hosted by Adrian Lai and Kausern Hieu. Join us in discovering the stories behind our thoughts, actions, and identities as we try to answer not just the whats and hows, but most importantly, the whys in life.
Hi, I'm Kausern. In today's episode, I'll be talking about how the art of storytelling is the key to unlock effective personal coaching. A lot of times, a lot of decisions that one makes, it's got to do with their belief system, their thought process.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the objective of the coach is actually to help this person to peel down, all the way to understand why certain decisions are being made.
Okay.
So like for example, let's say if we talk about someone refusing to be promoted for whatever reason.
Okay.
Right? But this person, you know that this person is ready to be promoted, but he or she doesn't want to be promoted. So there must be a reason why this person don't want to be promoted, right? So that's where coaching comes in. That's where my goal is to not to tell the person like, hey, promotion is good. It's not my place to say so.
Okay.
Right. So it's my goal is always to, if you can imagine like an iceberg, right? So what we see is at the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is this person do not want to be promoted.
Right.
But you don't see like the 70 to 80% below that, what you see above the iceberg, right? Which is powering their decisions, which is powering their actions.
Yeah.
So the idea is to help them by asking questions, by listening to them, by
to peel down so that you can reach the why and the deep whys, right?
Correct. The deep whys, the belief system, the thoughts and so on of this particular person, which is informing him or her of his decision. So there is no right or wrong. In fact, in the profession of coaching itself, a lot of times people mistaken coaching as mentoring. So there's a difference, right? So mentoring is that someone who is being mentored, they usually go under like a apprenticeship under this particular person for a specific task or profession, whatever not. For example, someone go under a mentorship of an entrepreneur because he or she wants to be one, right?
Yep.
So the mentor will dispense very specific instructions, whatever not. But in the coaching environment, usually the coach may not necessarily be a subject matter expert of what the person is going through, right? But he or her job is to actually understand the stories that this person is telling himself or herself that is making that decision. Right? So I think we talked about it just now about the intro of our show, like why the intro basically says that we want to explore about thoughts, actions, and identity, right? The not only the what's and the how, but the whys as well, right? So it's very much similar. It's like it's really about, because our identity, who we are, it is very much got to do with our actions, right? So what we do and so on. We inform other people of, this person is an honest person, this person is whatever, because of our actions, right? But the actions at the back of it, you peel down further, it's got to do with also our thought process, right? How we believe certain things and so on will inform us of our actions. But if you peel down further of our thoughts, right, it's really the stories that we tell ourselves. Right? And the idea is like, where did these stories come from? I think that's very important, because if we understand the motivations behind these stories, then you'll be able to incept that particular point and kind of like challenge that belief system. Right? Like some folks, for example, they believe that education is very important. You must finish off your tertiary. You must finish off your university. But where did that belief system come from? Right? Some people say, no, I don't have to. But if you were to challenge, especially for example, parents, whatever not, right? They'll say, no, education is very important. But where is that story coming from? You challenge them further, they say, no, but really, where is it? Oh, because if you keep on pressing, then they'll start to like question themselves.
Yes.
So it's because it's important. That's kind of like, then they'll try to shut off the conversation, right?
Change the topic.
My idea, my profession, my daily work as well as also as a coach, a lot of times when you see certain actions by certain people, you know that the first thing I have to apply is always about being non-judgmental. But it's very difficult, being human. But it's very important to apply. The first thing first is being really about. I'm using your word mindful, right? That you're not to be judgmental in any way, to really understand like, okay, it is what it is. This person is always late for work and always gives this particular excuse. Or this person is this and that, right? It's very easy for a manager to quickly have a particular judgment and say that, excuses every time. Monday always MC on, must be because that kind of thing, right?
And that comes from the stories they tell themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Correct, exactly. Sometimes can be even derogatory. Like for example, a particular race always come late on Monday one. Or this and so on, right? So where did all these stories come from, right? So the goal of what I do, or what at least interests me on a day-to-day basis, is actually really to understand the stories that individuals tell themselves, and that will inform them of their behavior, that will inform them of their thoughts, right?
It's kind of like their belief system, right?
Exactly.
What they, how they view the world, right? And because the way we communicate even to ourselves is through storytelling, right? We tell ourselves a particular story about the world, right? So that is basically the thoughts that we have is always in that form, So I guess in your case, you were kind of like a professional story digger,
in a way. But I think what I like about story as a craft, I've been to some of your classes, is that you apply a very scientific method to give like a framework to storytelling. So what I'm trying to say is this. For example, one of the framework that you gave before, it's what makes a good story, right? So that's the question. Sometimes when you go see a particular movie or read a particular book or whatever not and so on, and you come out of it and you say, wow, best are the story, right? So but what makes it good, right? So a lot of times people cannot really say it, or they cannot distill it down. They probably say, the effects are very good, or like the actor chun or whatever and so on. The story is good, but why is the story good, right?
Yes.
So I remember asking you the question, and you give me a very simplified but very powerful so-called framework, in a sense that you talk about. It's very simple. It's essentially a particular character, moving from point A to point B. But if every day this person moves from point A to point B, there's no story, it's boring. Okay, so you need to throw in some interruptions, you need to throw in some challenges to that journey, right? So suddenly going from point A to point B is very difficult. Right? Then as an audience, you are suddenly you're invested in this particular character, and you want to see how this character overcomes these challenges to move to point B, right? Whether does he or she make it or not. So at the end of the day, if he makes it, then you see this person, the word that you use, grow. Right? So growth is very important. You see this person coming out of that situation either broken, stronger, or whatever, right? And the bonus is that the audience themselves also can relate to it, and they also feel a change, right? So I apply that very much to on a coaching perspective as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like coaching, generally someone wants to go from point A to point B. I want to be promoted. I am going through this particular relationship problem. I'm going through whatever, right? So without challenges, it's going to be smooth sailing. Now they face a particular challenge.
Yep.
Right? So their head is all messed up with a lot of noodles or whatever not. So they cannot untangle these noodles. They do not know the clear path, right? So that's the challenge. So the idea is how can I help this person to untangle all these noodles in the head? Right, the stories that they tell themselves, how difficult it is, maybe this person don't like me, maybe I'm not good enough, and these things, right? And clear this path so that this person can grow. This person can move to point B. Right. Because if I successfully help this person to move to point B, this person have grown. Right? And in that process itself, I also learn something as an audience. Right? I also actually I never thought of it. I also learned something because I never thought that such belief system is so powerful, can actually inform this person right? So I also benefit as a coach. That's why it's not really a chore for me. I enjoy, like some people they feel that after they done some kind of coaching session, their energy is being sapped, right? It happens to me as well. But on really good days, it energizes me because I learn something about myself as well through that coaching session, right? Especially when I apply like non-judgmental, really listening to the person, like rather than jumping
like
and
being
just say,
open, right? Just accepting
the person. It's really
input,
difficult for the person to move from point A to point B. Even though sometimes we see it so clearly that it's so simple, just do this
just don't be scared lah, that's it.
Don't be scared.
But how do you get someone to don't be scared?
Correct.
Right?
So there is a reason why this person is scared in the first place.
Yes.
So you're supposed to be able to understand the stories that they tell themselves, why are they scared. So you need to be able to go back and take them to that place again, and ask them, okay, where is this scared thing coming from? You ask those questions, right? What is informing you of this decision? So these are the questions that we ask. And I suppose the storytelling part for you is very much literally teaching people to tell better stories by understanding.
No, but I actually have very similar experiences when I'm teaching as well. Because when I teach, let's say a particular class, let's say to make a short film or something, right? And very often, as I'm teaching, I'm getting, because I'm not giving them the story, right? I'm giving them the structure, right? I'm giving them the tools, right? And to see them use the tools in a particular way, right? It's very interesting because I also learn from that process, And for me, it is actually an experience of a story within storytelling as well. Like there is a story unfolding of me and my class, right? Learning from, especially when they are non-filmmakers, right? From becoming non-filmmakers to filmmakers, or from non-storytellers to becoming a storyteller, right? That is actually a journey on its own, in that one day or that half a day, right? It happens, right? And for me to be there and witnessing it as an audience, right? Like you call it, right? As a coach, which is as an audience at on those days, and that itself is a very satisfying experience. I always get energized. I think in fact
maybe even audience may not be even the right word, but as a student, right? As a student,
or participant, right?
To really observe, and uncover it. To me, the greatest kick that I get out of when in a coaching situation is that growth, that immediate growth that the person goes through. So, for example, like even sometimes it could be a 20 minutes discussion or even half an hour coaching in that sense, right? Or sometimes whatever 45, right? But the satisfaction that I get is every time when that person takes a very long time to answer a particular question, and that person is really digging deep, right? So in the beginning, when always you ask, it's very auto response. Oh, this, you know. Then you know that you're not really. It's very transactional.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But the moment you start to really be curious and not be judgmental, and you just go along with his thoughts or her thoughts, right?
Yeah.
The ones that really changes even myself, it's when the person can't really fully answer that question, and that person, there are a few occasions where the person being coached or the coachee actually breaks down. Like seriously, like unfinished business lah, undealt with emotions, whatever not, and so on, right? Which is informing the person of so you really peel down all the way to that to that space or place which they do not want to explore, right? But you know that those stories that they are telling themselves are informing them of their current behavior, and when that happens, it's very transformational. So the idea is really about moving from being transactional to a very transformational coaching session, right? And when that happens, to me, it's very heartwarming. Not because I'm sadistic to see them cry or whatever, but to me, we know that growth has happened, right? Whether or not the person wants to take action on that, it's something which we will so-called depends on the person whether he or she wants to continue the next session or not lah. Then that's where I will help this person to really take solid actions and be accountable for that. But that's for other days. But I think that moment itself is very powerful. When the person is like almost being like naked, no stripped bare. It's like I cannot hide anymore already. You know, and you go to the very essence of the stories that they tell themselves day to day on a daily basis, right? What is informing, and most of the time these are something which they do not know themselves, because they don't know that it's actually coming from that space, right? And they would and generally these folks will sleepwalk through their life lah. Right? So they are not awakened. So once they are awakened, like they understand that, oh, I see, you know, now it's because of my parents, or it's because of my past relationship, because of whatever is informing me of this, right? That's why I'm fearful, etc., etc. Then we can do recovery work.
Fuyo. It sounds like Inception, man.
It is
like some major Leonardo DiCaprio.
I suppose. So I guess from why at least we both agree to start this podcast is because we know that stories are powerful lah, right? You know, not only it entertains from a so-called cellular perspective, but also from a day-to-day basis. Like in my case, like, you know, I deal with a lot of this, you know, this kind of cases lah. To me, a good story needs to be able to change lives lah. You know, either change lives sound very big, but at least it needs to be able to spur someone to do a double take in terms of like their thoughts, cause them to think, cause them to take action. Right. To me, that is a good story well told. Right. I remember someone, I think one of the podcasts I was listening, just because you're saying something doesn't mean the other person is listening, doesn't mean the person is understanding, and doesn't mean the person is going to take action.
Yes.
Right. So that is not effective. So a good story is able to move people into to thinking differently, you know, to understand things a bit differently, and to be able to in fact coerce some kind of action. The more I talk about this, the more I talk about storytelling, the more I listen from you. I think the craft itself, in fact, is not just only a skill set that one can learn, but in fact, it can even be a movement, right? In the sense that it can be used on almost every aspect, right? Even like, for example, small things like giving a weekly speech to your people, to the staff, for example, right? So even that communication, that speech that you're going to give, that 15 minutes or 20 minutes speech, right? We can apply storycraft in it, right? Because you talk about, just now you used the word purposeful.
This is like the before you go and fight the alien for the last time.
That talk, right?
Basically, it's a storytelling to give the team like why. Why are we doing this? You know how, you know who. Right.
And the
but
most
why are we doing this? Right.
The most important thing is that it needs to be able to lead to an action. You see, it needs to be able to lead to a change,
to an action, and
right. So that's why all this. Braveheart, talk and all the before they fight the alien thing and so on, right? And it's because it goes back to the why, and it stirs something in them. It gives a particular emotion in them, right? And I think the emotion is also another big thing we need to talk about, because stories drive emotions and emotions drive actions.
Yes,
right. It's not only
it's not knowledge. It's not knowledge.
Emotions drive.
For sure.
So that's why stories are very important, because it drives actions, you see. And I think like I say, it can be used for speeches. It can be used for rallying people. Of course, it can be used for even like for HR purposes, human resource, right? How do you actually get this particular person to come on time? Or small
how do you
things.
attract the right people to your organization?
So it's vast. It's vast application to everywhere. So I thought the key word I thought was it's just not only a skill that needs to be learned, and not only by filmmakers, as we explore today, it's also being used in coaching, whatever not. But I think there's so much more that can be used in different areas.